Imagine for a second the utter crushing cold.
Oh, yeah, I mean, the space is just incredibly brutal.
Right. The absolute silence, of a dark lunar night. And sitting right there in the lunar dust is a tiny silicon microchip.
Just freezing out there.
It's completely alone in the dark, just waiting for the sun. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. I'm really glad you're joining us today.
We have a truly fascinating journey ahead of us today.
We really do. We're starting our trip way out in outer space. We're looking at AI physically landing on the moon.
And then we're coming right back down to Earth.
Exactly, to dissect a massive multi-billion-dollar hardware war. We'll explore how big tech is ruthlessly cutting their costs.
And finally, we'll look at everyday autonomous agents, because AI is quietly shifting away from just being chatbots.
The scale of these changes is genuinely breathtaking.
Oh, absolutely. We're seeing computing hardware pushed to absolute physical limits, and simultaneously, AI software is becoming completely invisible and embedded.
It's fundamentally changing how we interact with the digital world. Let's start by looking at those intense physical limits. Nvidia is officially taking its GPU computing dominance off planet.
Right. They are literally sending AI processing chips to the lunar surface.
Which is wild.
It really is. They're actually powering the next generation of autonomous space rovers. A space robotics startup called Lunar Outpost is leading this.
Yeah, they're using NVIDIA's Jetson computing platform for their newest rover. They're using that chip to run a lidar system.
And for those wondering, lidar involves using spinning lasers. It essentially maps physical spaces in 3D.
Right. If this actually works, it makes aerospace history. It'll be the first GPU ever deployed on the moon.
And the engineering hurdles they're facing are just staggering. These chips have to survive extreme cosmic radiation up there.
Because that radiation can literally flip binary bits inside computer memory.
Exactly. They also endure massive, incredibly violent temperature swings. And they must operate on incredibly low power.
Because the lunar night is brutally cold and lasts for weeks.
Yeah, it really does.
Whoa, imagine processing complex mapping data while surviving the freezing lunar night. It feels almost like science fiction to me.
It totally sounds wild, but it's actually highly practical. This specific mission is part of a much larger commercial push.
Right. NASA wants to thoroughly map the entire lunar terrain. They're actively hunting for crucial resources like frozen water.
Because this is all essential prep work for human astronauts, they want to send people back to the moon by 2028.
And that timeline is exactly what's driving this rapid innovation. But NVIDIA isn't just stopping at surface rovers, right?
No, not at all. They're also partnering with a company called Firefly Aerospace. They actually plan to put Jetson chips on a lunar satellite.
This part is actually really interesting to me. The satellite will process mapping imagery directly in space.
Yeah.
It completely avoids beaming heavy raw data back to Earth.
Yeah, that concept is known in the industry as edge computing. It means processing data locally instead of sending it away.
So you don't send raw files to a distant Earth server.
Right, because space communication inherently has terrible lag and very limited bandwidth.
So it's basically like comparing a rugged, off-grid survivalist to a massive factory.
Oh, that's a great way to look at it.
The Jetson chips are those tiny, energy-efficient survivalists. Traditional data center GPUs are the massive, power-hungry factories.
That analogy perfectly captures the extreme hardware constraints. And down the line, NASA is planning something even bigger.
A massive astronaut-carrying rover called Pegasus is currently in development.
Though that specific timeline depends heavily on Blue Origin right now. They're still finishing crucial repairs on their heavy launch vehicle.
So why is processing data locally in space so crucial?
Well, transmitting raw, high-resolution mapping data across space takes forever. It ties up our deep space networks and wastes precious time. Local processing means you only beam back the final answers.
So processing in space prevents a massive Earthbound data bottleneck.
Exactly. It fundamentally changes how efficiently we can explore the solar system.
Processing data locally is clearly all about hardware efficiency. Back on Earth, this fight for hardware dominance is escalating rapidly.
Oh, it really is.
It's hitting the multi-billion-dollar scale right now.
It really has become a massive, high-stakes arms race.
Yeah, and AMD is stepping up to the plate in a huge way. They're investing up to $5 billion into Anthropic.
Which is just a staggering amount of capital for one partnership.
Right, and starting in 2027, AMD is supplying massive hardware. They'll provide 2 gigawatts of MI450 GPUs.
And, GPUs are specialized chips handling thousands of AI calculations at once.
2 gigawatts is a truly unbelievable amount of raw energy. To put that into perspective, a single gigawatt powers a whole city.
Yeah, they're building computing infrastructure on a planetary scale now. It's not just about the chips, it's about power grids.
The strategic goal here is twofold for them, right?
Exactly. They want to expand Claude's computing power significantly, and they want to strengthen AMD's AI infrastructure business overall.
So they're directly challenging their massive competitors in this space.
Right. AMD desperately wants to prove they can handle the biggest workloads. Meanwhile, Anthropic needs reliable, massive compute to train smarter models.
But I have to push back a little bit here.
Okay, sure.
Is 2 gigawatts of power purely about expanding computing capability? Or is this just a massive, necessary survival play?
That's a very fair question.
Because they need to ensure they aren't entirely dependent on Nvidia.
Yeah, survival is definitely the primary driver behind this deal. Nvidia currently owns the vast majority of the AI hardware market.
Right, and if you rely only on Nvidia, you risk major supply bottlenecks.
Exactly. Anthropic needs guaranteed access to compute power to survive, and AMD needs a flagship partner to prove their hardware works.
So it's a mutually beneficial defense strategy against a monopoly.
That's exactly what it is.
So what does this mean for the broader AI ecosystem?
Well, we might finally see real, sustained hardware competition. When multiple vendors compete, it drives down prices and increases innovation.
Right. It proves Anthropic won't just rely on Nvidia to scale up.
It shows the entire industry that viable supply alternatives finally exist.
Massive computing capability obviously requires massive, ongoing financial costs, which is exactly why major tech players are changing their strategies.
Yeah, they're starting to cut out the middlemen completely.
Right, they're building highly capable models entirely in-house.
Microsoft is probably the perfect example of this strategic shift. They just introduced 2 brand new in-house AI model variants.
You can find them in public preview right now on Microsoft Foundry. They're giving enterprise users much more specific choices now.
Exactly. You can balance image quality, voice speed, and daily operating costs. The first new model is called MAI Image-2.5-Pro.
And this is Microsoft's highest fidelity image generation model so far, right?
It is. It generates beautiful, realistic images directly from simple text prompts, but it also edits your existing JPEG or PNG images seamlessly.
So you just use natural language instructions to change the picture.
Exactly. And Microsoft is quietly replacing OpenAI's models across their entire ecosystem.
They're putting their own custom models into Bing and PowerPoint. They're integrating them deeply into OneDrive, Dynamics 365, and Azure.
The cost savings they're seeing internally are absolutely staggering. PowerPoint replaced GPT Image 2 with this brand new Microsoft model.
And they reduced the required GPU costs by up to 84%.
Which is an incredible reduction in daily operational overhead. And they released the exact API pricing details for the public.
It's $5 per 1 million text input tokens.
And tokens are tiny word fragments that AI reads to process text.
The image processing costs are also highly competitive now. It's $8 for 1 million image input tokens.
Right, and it costs $106 for image output tokens. They also released a new voice model called MAI Voice-2-Flash.
This is the significantly faster and cheaper audio version, right?
Yeah, it's a text-to-speech model built specifically for real-time digital agents. It's perfect for automated call centers and high-volume voice products.
It offers very low latency, which means almost zero noticeable delay. So it's basically like a massive corporation going bankrupt, paying retail electricity rates. They finally just decide to build a nuclear reactor in their parking lot.
I love that. They realized they had to generate their own power. That's exactly the financial dynamic driving this entire industry trend.
MAI Image targets users who care deeply about precise visual quality. And MAI Voice targets enterprise products where sheer speed and cost matter most.
You nailed it.
Does this mean we're prioritizing speed and cost overall? Are we giving up having the absolute smartest model available?
For everyday enterprise tasks, that is absolutely the trade-off. You really don't need a genius-level model to format a slide.
You just need a model that is reliable, fast, and cheap.
The math simply doesn't support using massive models for mundane tasks.
Yeah, good enough and cheap beats perfect and expensive for everyday tools.
It really does.
Sponsor placeholder.
The ruthless cost-cutting at the enterprise level is genuinely fascinating.
It is, because it actually mirrors shifting loyalties at the consumer level too.
Oh, for sure. The walled gardens of these big platforms are finally cracking open. We're seeing a massive, undeniable shift in consumer user behavior.
Google's Gemini platform has quietly reached 950 million monthly users. That's just a staggering number of active people.
It's huge. Their user base has literally tripled since this time last year. Meanwhile, ChatGPT's overall market share just slipped below 50%.
And a huge part of that is due to OpenAI's chaotic limits.
Yeah, they keep constantly changing the rules for their premium subscribers. They've aggressively reset their usage limits 36 times recently.
Changes so often, someone actually had to build a tracker site. I still wrestle with keeping up with OpenAI's changing limits myself.
It's so annoying. It completely breaks your creative workflow when you hit a sudden wall.
And rival companies are absolutely taking advantage of this user frustration.
Oh, big time. Grok is making some very aggressive consumer moves right now. The new Grok Build feature is officially heading to iOS soon.
It lets you build custom apps, games, or data dashboards quickly.
Exactly. You can instantly deploy them and publish on custom domains, and you can do it all without ever leaving the chat.
They also just released their updated Grok 4.5 model. Elon Musk openly admits it isn't quite as good as Stable.
Right, but he claims it's incredibly fast and very cost-effective. It gets the daily job done for most average users.
Musk claims Grok is cost-effective for daily tasks. But when you look at raw performance benchmarks, the real dogfight is elsewhere.
Yeah, someone just tested Opus 5.0 directly against Fable 5 Max. Opus 5.0 is currently in private testing right now.
A creator posted this incredible full 3D comparison between them. Both models successfully completed the exact same complex task in one shot.
It clearly shows how intensely close the flagship competition has actually become.
We also have to mention Meta's recent marketing efforts. They released a very awkward new AI advertisement recently.
That specific ad campaign was a very strange creative choice. The overarching slogan was simply, "The future is for everyone."
But they played a background song track about the Earth dying.
Yeah, it was a very awkward, dystopian contrast from Mark Zuckerberg's team.
So are unpredictable platform actively driving users away from their ecosystems?
Definitely. Consumers have zero patience for constantly shifting digital boundaries. If a premium tool limits you randomly, you just find another tool. Consistency is usually much more important than being marginally smarter.
Exactly. Unpredictable limits are driving frustrated users straight to Gemini.
People just want reliable software that works when they actually need it.
While platform loyalty shifts rapidly, the AI itself is rapidly evolving. It's moving away from just being a simple chat box interface.
Right, it's becoming an embedded, autonomous agent in our daily lives. AI is starting to quietly manage our complex daily digital routines.
This is arguably the most impactful technological trend we're seeing today. ChatGPT Health is now officially rolling out to all U.S. users.
It's currently available across every single active subscription plan. It natively integrates your personal medical records and daily wellness data.
It can analyze your long-term health trends and give you insights.
It's an incredibly powerful concept for tracking your personal health journey. You can spot anomalies in your blood work almost instantly.
But I have some really deep reservations about this specific feature. Trusting AI models with private medical records feels incredibly risky right now.
I completely understand that.
Because these complex models can still hallucinate and just confidently make things up.
You're completely right to be extremely cautious about this. Trusting it blindly with diagnostic medical decisions could get risky fast. You absolutely always have to verify what the language model tells you.
They're also heavily expanding their standard desktop software capabilities. ChatGPT Voice on the desktop app just got a major update.
Yeah, you can now operate multiple distinct agents across different digital workspaces.
Wow.
You can use ChatGPT Work and Codex at the exact same time.
So the voice assistant manages everything seamlessly in the background for you.
Exactly. We're also seeing entirely new tools built just for shared workflows. There's a new platform called Offloop that does this exceptionally well.
Offloop gives specialized AI agents a shared digital workspace environment.
Right. The autonomous agents actually collaborate on recurring business tasks together. It assigns the right specialized agent while keeping operational compute costs low.
Visual and audio tools are also automating complex digital workflows now. Runway Media Router is a really great example of this trend.
It automatically picks the absolute best AI model for your specific media. It actively balances image or video quality, generation speed, and overall cost.
So you don't ever have to guess which model is currently best.
Right. And Sonilo Sound Effects 1.0 is doing this exactly for audio.
Yeah.
It generates perfectly synced sound effects directly from videos or text.
It makes a Clomo creation much faster and far more realistic.
There's also this Unreal GitHub 3D globe project floating around online. It's completely free and tracks massive amounts of unstructured global data.
It actively tracks over 500 live global news feeds simultaneously.
Yeah, it maps active wars, flights, financial markets, shipping, and cyber incidents. It synthesizes all that global chaos onto one live 3D globe interface.
It's the perfect visual example of AI aggregating complex, real-time data. It makes understanding our chaotic world much easier to visually digest. So what happens when AI agents start managing other AI agents?
Well, we fundamentally step out of the loop of daily execution. We become strategic directors instead of being hands-on operators. We just give the high-level operational goals to the overall system.
We're moving from prompting AI to simply managing a digital workforce.
The AI completely handles the logistics, and we just handle the strategy.
We've covered a tremendous amount of intellectual ground today. Let's synthesize this entire technological journey for you.
Yeah, we started with extreme hardware survival on the freezing lunar surface. We explored massive billion-dollar compute deals back here on Earth.
We clearly saw how major tech companies are ruthlessly cutting their costs.
Right. They're heavily favoring operational efficiency and speed over absolute raw intelligence.
All of this development leads to a very specific new world. AI is quietly becoming deeply embedded into absolutely everything we use.
From mundane PowerPoint presentations to our highly personal, private medical records.
It's rapidly becoming a completely invisible layer of our daily lives. Just like background electricity, we'll very soon stop noticing it entirely. I want to leave you with a final thought today.
Oh, this is the best part.
If AI is becoming an invisible, deeply embedded utility everywhere, much like electricity powering a lunar satellite or your office desktop, what happens to our own critical thinking over time?
That's a big one.
What happens when we no longer even notice AI making decisions for us?
That is easily the most important question we can ask right now.
Thank you so much for taking this deep dive with us today. Keep staying intensely curious and keep questioning the tech you use. We'll see you next time.